Words from a book showed me the way to be free of the shadows of yesterday. But the price of that freedom we all must pay.
Warning. I chain smoke and I say fuck a lot. But I accept myself for the way I am. I accept you too. Viewer discretion advised.
And we lifted our voices one mighty sound and struck down the walls of darkness. We stood tall.
I did make a video about Scientology way back in 2019 called The Cult of Scientology. Since I've been deplatformed since then, the only backup copy was on BitChute. I'll leave a link below. It may or may not work. I couldn't get it to work, so I also couldn't really refresh myself, but I know it had something to do with the head of Scientology's wife being missing for many years. You know Leah Remini, the girl from Saved by the Bell, where they go off and get summer jobs at a resort, and King of Queens that left Scientology in 2013? Well, she's been going off on Scientology this week on Twitter, and I especially wanted to share this thread she made. Many of you know about Shelly Miscavige. You know what I think of every time I hear her name?
Shelly Miscavige!
The wife of Scientology's leader, David Miscavige,
Miscavige!
who's been missing for over 15 years. Well, I've got a hell of an update for you. Meet Corey Polka, a 34-year vet of LAPD and a longtime captain of the Hollywood Division. Corey was in charge of the division where I filed my missing persons report into the disappearance of Shelly Miscavige. Here, Corey accepts a check from Scientology for an LAPD charity. Here's where things get interesting. Corey is now being investigated for providing confidential investigative information to top CBS executives, which begs the question, what investigative information has he provided to Scientology over the years?
New York Attorney General says CBS staged an elaborate cover-up on an alleged sexual assault for its former network boss, Les Moonves. Report says it all started with the help of an LAPD captain.
This story, it goes back to the 80s, and it is tied directly to this LAPD station here in Hollywood. Now, some of you might know the name. Take a look. This is his photo. This is Corey Polka, and he was the former captain of this particular station here in Hollywood and later a commander for the LAPD before he retired early last year. Now, according to the New York Times, New York Attorney General, it turns out that Polka played a major role in a cover-up involving CBS and Les Moonves. Now, according to a new report, Polka allegedly tipped off Moonves and CBS about sexual assault allegations and provided them with a copy of the victim's confidential report, and this goes back to November of 2017. The police captain was friendly with CBS executives because he had been part of Moonves' security detail for the Grammy Awards for several years. According to the LA Times, Polka allegedly left this voicemail to the top brass at CBS, saying in part, take a look at this, somebody walked into the station about a couple of hours ago and made allegations against your boss regarding sexual assault. It's confidential, as you know, but call me. Some of the woman's personal information was also given out. Both sides at the time sought to downplay the gravity of the woman's complaint. More than 8 months went by before the public became aware of the allegations against Les Moonves. CBS eventually fired Moonves almost 4 years ago after 2 law firms concluded an investigation into sexual misconduct allegations. The New York Attorney General's office is now announcing a settlement that will require Moonves and CBS to pay $30.5 million to shareholders for keeping them in the dark and withholding this information.
In 2013, after I left Scientology, I filed a missing persons report with the LAPD on Shelly. By the time I filed the report, it had been nearly 8 years since I had seen or heard from Shelly. At Tom Cruise's wedding to Katie Holmes in 2006, I was shocked when Shelly wasn't with her husband, David Miscavige. Tom's wedding was dubbed, quote, the wedding of the century. In Scientology, it was the most critical event for top Scientologists. Shelly was always with her husband. She was his shadow, not only because she was married to him, but also because she was his top aide. For her not to be in attendance was not only unusual, but also unimaginable. When I asked where Shelly was, Tommy Davis, Tom Cruise, and David Miscavige's henchmen told me, quote, you don't have the fucking rank to ask about Shelly. I was subjected to months of cruel interrogations and reprogramming for the high crime of asking where Shelly was. My letters to Shelly had all gone unanswered. I couldn't reach her by phone either. So when I left Scientology, my first goal was to try and find Shelly. I filed a missing persons report through a friend I knew at the LAPD. Hours after I filed the missing persons report, the case was closed, and the LAPD announced to the press that they had found Shelly. This news was released first to the press, not to me, who filed the report. I learned about all of this from the media, not the LAPD. When I asked if detectives had spoken to or had seen Shelly themselves, I was told that was classified by the LAPD.
I did call the LAPD, and they put me in touch with a Lieutenant Andre Dawson, who was in charge of the investigation. And I asked him, I said, so what actually occurred? And he said 2 of his detectives had gone to Shelly's location, which he would not reveal, and checked on her to make sure she was okay. And he said she was okay, and she did not want to make a public statement. And I then asked him, Lieutenant Dawson, this conversation between your 2 detectives and Shelly, did that take place in the presence of other Scientology officials?
Right.
And his exact words were, that's classified.
Correct. And when I asked Detective
Yeah.
Dawson, did you actually see her herself, or was it a representative? He said that's classified.
I was told to file a public record request if I wanted further information. I spent $50,000 in attorney's fees filing various requests. My request for information from the LAPD was shut down. I still don't know anything about the circumstances of this investigation. Scientology has always done a great job at ingratiating itself with law enforcement despite being experts in obstructing justice. Scientology hires off-duty LAPD cops as security and donates to LAPD charities, all while instructing their members never to help any criminal investigations involving Scientologists, and making it high crime within Scientology to report Scientologists to law enforcement. When I met with Corey Palka about Shelly, he had a letter on his desk thanking him for all his help with Scientology matters and inviting him to come and have lunch as a guest at the Celebrity Center. I was so alarmed by Corey's closeness with Scientology, I even offered to personally double any donations they made to LAPD charities if he wouldn't accept donations from them. Corey was incredibly dismissive. Take a look at these emails obtained by @TonyOrtega94 that Corey exchanged with Scientology officials. Look how helpful Corey is to Scientology. Look how friendly their relationship is. From Lisa Alexander, Wednesday, July 25, 2018. To Corey Palka. Subject: thank you. Captain Palka, we are 1000% on your team. Always. All the best. Lisa. Lisa Alexander, Public Affairs, Scientology Media Productions. Corey Palka, Wednesday, July 25, 2018. To Lisa Alexander, CC Jonathan Larson. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. We need you on our team. This can be a very difficult occupation, but it's more than just a job. It's the people that need to be cared for. Thank you for caring for us at Hollywood. Corey even assigned a particular detective who could personally handle Scientology's complaints. He also agreed to help introduce them to the Detroit Chief of Police. This is unheard of. I'm not going to read all the emails here because they're pretty long and pretty boring, but I'll leave links below and they do prove what she's saying. LAPD Lieutenant Andre Dawson, the detective in charge of my missing persons report into Shelly Miscavige, also has a cozy relationship with Scientology. Here he is speaking at Scientology's Celebrity Center at an event about human trafficking. You can't make it up.
This is a man who was speaking at Celebrity Center events.
Right. So I talked to him in 2013 when you filed your missing person report, and he retired like a year later.
Mhm.
And then you and I started seeing him in Scientology promotional flyers. They were, he would give these speeches at Scientology facilities. Oh, that was, wow.
So I'm supposed to believe that they saw her when you're speaking on all things at Scientology about human trafficking?
Right.
Of all things, this is what you're at Scientology at the podium speaking about. You're on their invitation. Your name is. Are you kidding me, Tony?
Corey Palka also allowed Scientology to set up a, quote, informational kiosk at the LAPD Hollywood division. Here's what it looked like. Luckily, it was quickly taken down. An investigation must be opened into Corey's relationship with Scientology and the LAPD's interactions with Scientology overall. And the LAPD must not attend Scientology events anymore or accept their funds. Where is Shelly? Fucking stoned. I got motherfucking spaceship. Oh, fuck. Oh, cool. I got it.